At Bean Trailer, we get a lot of calls from Forester, Outback, RAV4, and other small crossover owners asking a familiar question: can my vehicle tow a Bean Trailer? So we wanted to shed some light on our experience towing with the Crosstrek Wilderness and with the Outback Wilderness that we owned a couple years ago. TFL recently highlighted their brief off-roading experience with the Crosstrek while towing a Bean, but this video left a lot of questions unanswered, like livability and mileage, so we plan on providing these additional insights in this video. Now, let's head to southern Utah with Mr. and Mrs. Bean and see how the Crosstrek did with Beanstalk 2.0.
Hi, I'm Mark.
And I'm Cindy, and today we're here with the 2024 Crosstrek Wilderness.
The reason we added this vehicle to our fleet is so that we could experience what it's like towing with a light vehicle, so we can give you an idea of the kind of gas mileage that you can expect, how it's going to perform on the highway, and how it's going to do with a little light off-roading.
Yeah, over the years we've gotten questions about what it's, do we have a trailer that has the tow capacity or the lightness to be able to use a smaller car like the Crosstrek, like a Honda CR-V. So yeah, we look forward to going out this week and gathering all that information for you and sharing it.
So Cindy, what are your thoughts on doing a little light off-roading with this vehicle?
Well, I'm no stranger to off-roading. I have to say, I feel pretty good about having done Eagle Canyon a couple of times by myself.
You are a badass.
Yeah, with the Tacoma and with the GX 460. But I am feeling a little bit nervous about what we're doing this weekend in this vehicle. So I'm just waiting to see how that's going to all pan out and if I'm going to be jumping out of the car.
Yeah, we should have some reasonable expectations on this. Unlike those other vehicles, it doesn't have a 4-low transfer case. It doesn't have lock-in differentials,
and not much ground clearance.
Right, so you have to be a little bit realistic about your expectations. But I'm excited to go on this trip, gather that information, and we'll see you in St. George.
Beanstalk 2.0 is our lightest trailer, starting out at around 1,175 pounds. With the add-on accessories you see, the off-road tires, a fridge, the awning, this one weighs in at around 1,400 pounds. Fortunately, this is well within the 3,500 tow capacity of the Crosstrek Wilderness. The drive down has a few sustained steep climbs along with an 80-mile-an-hour speed limit. This can make it challenging. However, Mark and Cindy were pleased with how the 182 horsepower and 178 foot-pounds of torque did towing the Bean. This experience was similar to the feel of a Tacoma towing a 2,000-pound Bean trailer. With the cruise control set at around 75 miles an hour, the Crosstrek was well within its comfort zone. They did notice that on sustained climbs they needed to slow down to 65 miles an hour or the oil temp would start rising to the red line. Mark and Cindy ended up finding a great spot in the Wright Ranch campground with majestic views of Zion National Park and settled in for some mountain biking adventures and a great evening meal around the campfire. By the way, did you know the Wright Ranch campsite, along with many others, can be found on the Bean There app? Find thousands of campsites that have been reviewed by other Bean owners. Once they arrived on the graded dirt roads with the upgraded Ironman 4x4 suspension on the Crosstrek and the Timbren suspension on the trailer, the combination continued to impress. Travel was smooth and enjoyable. One additional benefit of the Ironman 4x4 suspension upgrade was stiffer springs in the back that did a good job of eliminating the sag we found in the stock suspension. The next morning, Mark and Cindy headed out to test the capabilities of the Crosstrek by attempting to off-road to Toquerville Falls. This is a challenging trail, well within the capabilities of Bean in an off-road vehicle with 4-low range. So, as a safety precaution, Mark and Cindy's daughter followed along in a truck with 4-low range just in case the Crosstrek was not up to it. Everything was good for the first mile or so with the Crosstrek handling the rocky terrain well. This is where the extra ground clearance and off-road tuning of the Ironman lift really shine, keeping us from hitting anything on the undercarriage of Bean.
Trailer says no big thing. So these guys got stuck in this hole up here and they're turning around. They're not going to do it. And we are going to try and we'll get it on film. Well, you saw the guys that were turning around. We watched a guy go up in his side-by-side and he had to push it up. There's no way we're getting up this in the Crosstrek. So, hey, it did great up to this point. It's steep, it's rocky, and divots. So we're gonna pull to the side of the road here and take our support vehicle all the way up to the falls.
So this is, if you look out there, you can see the Crosstrek with the stock 2.0. This is the limitations of the Crosstrek with this kind of trailer, and the limitation hasn't been ground clearance, it's been the lack of low to get up this next ledge, because it's super steep and because there's a significant ledge up there, is going to require low and probably a locker. So that's what you need to do to be able to climb these kind of things. But if you're not doing this kind of thing, the Crosstrek did incredible.
It was clear that it was the end of the road for the Crosstrek. So they continued to Toquerville Falls in the truck that had no problem with the trail, with its big tires, low range, and rear locker. Being in the Crosstrek stayed back to enjoy the vista.
Hi, we're coming back from Toquerville Falls. We showed you a picture of where we abandoned Bean and the Crosstrek. Bean was having no problem, the Crosstrek couldn't handle it. Right now we're going down some of the hardest part here that we've done so far, and the support vehicle, the Tremor's behind us. We did continue all the way up to Toquerville Falls with the Tremor, and then came back and met Bean where we left it on the turnout on the side of the road. Anyway, Crosstrek's been amazing. It did a much better tow job than I thought it was going to do. Highway, no problem. Even on like what we're doing right now, and when we came up this, it did great. Like I was kind of shocked. Mark, what do you want to add?
For dirt roads and towing, occasionally, great vehicle. If you're gonna go on longer trips and you need more storage capability, then I'd probably say something more like an Outback that has about 100 more horsepower and has a little more storage.
Oh, it's off. All right, Mark, I think it's time to wrap up our synopsis of what we think of the Crosstrek on this trip. So you've seen our video of what it was capable of. So let's start with 3 things that we really liked about the Crosstrek. And I'll start with one that was a super enjoyable drive. Like I didn't know what to expect, but I was comfortable in the seat, the comfortable towing. It was really enjoyable on the highway.
Yeah, speed limits in Utah are pretty high. You know, they go as high as 80 miles an hour. And
we're not saying tow your trailers at 80 miles an hour.
Yeah,
okay, we did not say that.
It didn't really like towing the trailer at 80 miles an hour, but it seemed to enjoy it at 75 miles an hour. And I like the fact that it did about 15% better than any other vehicle from a gas mileage standpoint.
Well, do you want to tell them when you checked it, what the gas mileage was pulling the trailer?
14 miles per gallon, which, you know, right now some of your jaws are dropping, but that's actually pretty good
compared to some of the things that we tow with. So that's the other thing is I enjoyed being in this car. I'm used to pulling trailers and being in bigger vehicles, and I found this really comfortable and enjoyable.
Yeah.
So
I think I would really like this if I was a weekend warrior and wasn't going on extended long trips or going way off the beaten track where I needed like 4-low to get to some of the places we take our trailers. This would be a perfect trailer.
So one of the other things that we liked about the Crosstrek was it did well off-road, and I don't know that it's not known as an off-road beast, but it did Toquerville Falls pretty well, and I'm surprised. So I think that you could, we tested the limits of what it could do, and I think for most people's purposes that have a Crosstrek, you can feel comfortable going on gravel roads, on dirt roads, just not super steep and chunky at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. We found the limits, and it's not just the limits of the Crosstrek, it's any vehicle that doesn't have 4-low. If you want to be able to pop over ledges, definitely 4-low is going to give you the low gearing and grunt that you need to be able to do that, where you're going to struggle and hop around quite a bit if you try to do it in a vehicle like this Crosstrek.
So the things that maybe we didn't like so much. So I'm going to start there. As I mentioned, that we are usually taking a little bit bigger vehicles. So I found this fine and adequate for a weekend trip. But if we had been gone any longer, I think the storage is really compromised in the back. So there is not a lot of place to put stuff. It's a small car.
So, can you tow a lightweight off-road trailer with a small crossover? The answer is yes, but you need to be realistic with your expectations. Consider the following list when evaluating towing a bean with a light vehicle. Number 1, try to maintain a 25% cushion between the fully loaded weight of bean and the tow capacity of your vehicle. For example, we would recommend your trailer be no heavier than 1,500 pounds if your vehicle tow capacity is 2,000 pounds. Number 2, remember to factor in your trailer's tongue weight against the vehicle's tongue weight capacity. Number 3, watch your water and oil temperature on steep climbs. You could get a more powerful vehicle like the turbo Outback or turbo Mazda CX-50, so your vehicle is not working so hard while towing. Number 4, add a trailer brake controller to the vehicle to take advantage of Bean's built-in electronic brakes that come standard on all trailers. Number 5, limit your expectations on where you can go. You can't go to places like Toquerville Falls with Bean, where you could easily make it with Bean in a more off-road capable vehicle. So that brings us to the end of our summary. We hope you found this informative and inspires you to get out and Bean there.
Reason we purchased this vehicle is so we could give people look into the me. All right, tell me again what I'm supposed to say.
Well, I think it's action.
Hi, I'm Mark.
And I'm Cindy.
And we're here to review
Planes, trains, and automobiles today.
the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek. Like a Crosstrek, like a
RAV4, Honda CRV.
yeah, we had a Subaru. We had a Subaru.
Subaru Outback. I don't think you even want to go there.
Subaru Outback.
Why would you even want to go there?
Stroke back.
Why would you even want to talk about that?
I don't know. Fuck. Let's do this again.